Before I came here to Ibiza, I was working as a photographer, moving around the world, doing reportages in jungle, in the desert, for different magazines, and also being involved in taking photographs of the car race, Formula One, touring cars, and so on. When I came here to Ibiza, I had a kind of a feeling to have a little break, ending up here in Ibiza in the mountain. And at that time, quite a lot of people arrived here, something like 25 years ago. At this time, when we started celebrating parties here in the mountains, I caught myself complaining about the simplicity of the decoration, which at that time basically has been a cut-off water bottle of plastic, putting some sand inside and a candle. And after catching myself complaining about that, I figured out that the one who has the idea. I discovered a technique how to project diapositives into trees and mountains and rocks, and this worked out quite well. And in a short time I was able to decorate the nature with diapositives which I drew myself, and that was how it was moving here with my work. And in making it short, I had one show in Germany in doing that at a big electronic music event, and two gigs later I found myself at the biggest techno event in Germany with something like 25,000 people. And and since then I'm like doing things like that, specialized on creating a three-dimensional stage design and working live over the night in changing the atmosphere of this environment in synchronization with the music. I would say that the stock in images I have, it moves from images from A to Z. It's women, it's Buddhas, it's fetish, it's nature. I like everything, so I try to put from any kind of things I can work out, I put in my shows. The technique I'm using in doing this, that I mainly pick out for the winter season, whether it's a little island somewhere, even smaller, much smaller than Ibiza, or I sit myself in a desert where it's nothing much around, where I can get concentrated on doing that work. And mainly in springtime, the season in Germany starts with a huge techno event, and this will be is mainly where I see the first time what I have seen in small, what I painted in the total calmness in the desert, and there I see it in between 15-20,000 people with a loud music and a 25-meter stage, and that's how the season starts for me. Well, last year I discovered for myself a new technique which brought me back into using my photography in working instead of slide projectors, which I still do, but including video projections. And this gives me the possibility in keeping on photography, and in case that I did photography now for so many years, I'm not so satisfied with a normal good photo. I try to create a own space with a picture, an own area, and this comes up the second thing, that I like graphic work at the computer. So this is what I'm into work-wise at the moment. I'm doing photo sessions, and I'm working these photographs out in the computer and then putting them in my shows. After I finished a season with Cocoon in Amnesia, which is a kind of techno event for the whole season, I started missing, in case that our parties did not take place anymore, I started missing the basic, what I was used when we did the parties, which was joy and heart and all these kind of things. It's quite hard to find in the discotheque nightlife. In realizing and missing that, I met Jean-Michel, who also lives in the same village here as I do, and I have to say, with Jean-Michel, years ago we had a kind of avant-garde group. At that time was called Chaos, and we used to play, as the name is saying, it was quite avant-garde music. So we already know for many years, and I asked him, telling him, look, I would be ready to do something in Namaste, which at that time was running for, I don't know, 1 or 2 years. So I offered Jean-Michel my openness to be ready in accompanying them. And it actually worked very fast. Next day he came and I was in the game. My engagement is in coordinating the trance dance tempo, which includes in being connected with all the young DJs here on the island. And this is something, it's so nice to see that these guys, they come back on Tuesday from Japan, they play on Wednesday night in Namaste, and on Thursday night they're already on their way to Mexico. My daily work for Namaste is doing the graphic and the designs for the posters, flyers, CDs, booklets. That's what I do in my daily life here. And I have to say, I enjoy the Namaste experience. Every show we do, every day we work together. I love to work in the group with Namaste. I did not have any kind of information about Ibiza when I came here, because at this time it was not so well known as it is probably nowadays. And nowadays it's well known basically in the medias for the party, the nightlife, and that's it basically. Nobody wants to make a reportage about the beauty of the island. And so that's how is Ibiza known. Of course, at the other side, it is a place where the nightlife is being cultivated for the last 25-30 years. And when I'm moving around the world with my work, I can see what comes out when you cultivate something for so many years. It's hard to find at other places how this whole movement is taking place. What I myself liked at the situation here is I like the contrasts. And the contrast here is that when I'm working a night in the nightclub and I come home in early morning with the sunrise, that's actually my peak of the night. I cannot tell this to the promoters because then they would say, oh, if this is your highlight, then you bring money for us and work, and then you have your highlight there. So for me, the highlight is after all this noisy, after this Sodom and Gomorrah what is taking place, after 20 minutes I'm reaching an area here where it's all nature. I like the silence and the sunrise, and this is one strong part what I like here in Ibiza, to be close to the nature. Wherever I drive, except nowadays to Ibiza town. It's beauty, I'm surrounded by beauty. I like the tolerance of the Ibizencan people. Like when there is the San Juan festival, which is taking place every year. It's already a tradition that they paint the whole church white for me, and they give me the whole church to illuminate, to project on the church in psychedelic colors, images, and while next to me there is trance music, and at the other corner is Ibizencan music, and it's a melting pot of where you can see how far the tolerance of these people is going, that there is foreigners and the Ibizenco people all together celebrating on one spot. When I came here to Ibiza, I had a kind of an inner voice saying to me, I don't think that's a place where you're going to stay forever. And now it's a little bit more than 25 years ago, and I'm still here. So that's my statement about being here in Ibiza. I'm still here.